saw that the earth was without form and without void. But the problem why the earth was without form and void was because of the darkness that was upon the earth. So the solution to bring order to the earth is not just by going to reinforce order to the earth. No. The solution to bringing order to the earth is by first what? By first bringing light. When there is light, gradually over time, order will come. But if there is no light, there will be no order. So God saw that the earth is under darkness and the earth is in chaos. But the solution to that darkness and chaos is by first bringing what? Light. Somebody say wisdom. So you see that it was wisdom that happened first. And when wisdom happened, what followed next? The power of God. And that is why the next statement said, and God said, let there be light. And there was light. When God's wisdom followed the voice, the power of God followed the wisdom. When God's wisdom followed the voice, the power of God followed what? His wisdom. Anytime God's power wants to be manifested in a place, God's power always goes in the direction of his wisdom. Anytime God's power wants to be manifested in an environment, God's power always go in the direction of his wisdom. Do you know that God doesn't just manifest his power anyhow, anywhere, anytime, just because you wish it or just because you desire it? No. But most of the times, anytime God manifests his power, is to the intent that God's wisdom. And what is God's wisdom? One dimension of God's wisdom is the word of God. One aspect of wisdom is the word of God. So you see that if God's power wants to be manifested, God's wisdom must first go. And when God's wisdom go, the power of God will be manifested. Now, what do I mean? If somebody wants to perform a miracle, a healing miracle, the way you can perform that healing miracle is that there must first be a communication of the wisdom of God. What is the wisdom of God? That by his stripes you were healed and you were made whole. Now, the moment as an individual you communicate God's wisdom and say, by his stripes you are healed and you are made whole. Now, that statement you are saying is what? Is wisdom of God. When you say, by his stripes you are healed and you are made whole, you are communicating the wisdom of God. But when you have communicated the wisdom of God, when you stretch your hands to that individual who is having that sickness at the time, whom you want to perform the healing miracle on, because you have communicated the wisdom of God that by his stripes you are what? Healed. So therefore, stand up from your wheelchair. The wisdom of God, which is the word of God, by his stripes you are made whole. We usher in the power of God that we make that individual to stand up. Every time God's power finds expression, his power always follows where his wisdom goes.